have to use so many cuss words?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yes. Well, was that a member of Congress there? What was that? Sam Elliott? No, from the Big Lebowski, of course. Yeah, doing my voice recognition programming there. Yeah, he could be a member of Congress now, huh? And now, Led Zeppelin. Da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba. That's right, the job numbers are great. The third one-month job report of President Trump's second term. All the projections had the job creation at 133,000 new jobs, when in reality, 177,000 new jobs were created, including nearly 30,000 jobs in shipping and warehousing. The news media is like, the job number, in spite of Trump, the job numbers are okay. In spite of Trump's trade wars, because there's no trade war, but that's okay. He is negotiating. Amazing stuff. Yes, the job market remains resilient in the face of President Trump's trade wars. Well, okay. That's one media spin that you could put on that, but isn't that remarkable? Yes, it is. So the job number is great. The unemployment number, good. The inflation number, good. The president wrestling gators to the ground all over the place. And, that means improving our trade relations with country after country, a great many friendly countries with whom we have had for a very long time unfriendly trade relations or trade agreements. Not good at all. But I did, since we opened with Sam Elliott and the Big Lebowski cursing up there, what we were talking about was Ilhan Omar. Now, let's go back to the old Ilhan Omar, the first Ilhan Omar, where once again the congresswoman from hell, from jihadi hell, she would, if nobody were looking, she'd be hanging Jews all over the place. This one. And Americans would, non-Jewish Americans would come second. She's amazing. But it was a while back now. When was the first one, Michael? The first one was months ago now. It was November of last year. That's months ago. And Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman, the esteemed member of Congress, was asked a polite question. And this one's a little bit hard to hear, but she again uses the F word to curse out a polite American. She's an immigrant, jihadi refugee whose life was saved by the United States of America. And to say that she's an ungrateful jihadi miscreant would be generous, let's say. Ilhan Omar.
Go to Gaza, sweetheart. Go to Gaza.
Oh, that's right. This was at she was at the protest because she's an anti-Semite, and it was an anti-Israel protest. And someone standing there said, he sees her and says, you obviously know what you're talking about. Go to Gaza, go to Gaza. He called her sweetheart, probably the first time in her life, or at least since her brother stopped calling her sweetheart late at night. Psst, psst, sweetheart, now that we're married. But then Daily Caller reporter Miles Morrell yesterday on Capitol Hill with the congresswoman, isn't she amazing, Ilhan Omar.
Do you think more of your Democratic colleagues should be traveling to El Salvador to advocate on behalf of Abrego Garcia?
I think you should off. Yeah, that's
I'm sorry, what, Congresswoman? Who should?
You.
Abrego, he even used a little roll of the tongue, a little accent there. Abrego Garcia. Do you think many of your colleagues should be going to El Salvador to go support their wife-beating, criminal, human trafficking, illegal alien gang member, Abrego Garcia? And she doesn't have a civil response because there is not a civil bone in her body. I know you're thinking about her brother again, but that's another story for another thing. And that's so Jasmine Crockett. And then, Jasmine Crockett. Let's not forget about Democrat Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who is another racist, anti-Semite, un-American, anti-American bit of rabble. And she's an extremist, and she went to private Catholic schools all her life. But she's like Barbara Billingsley, an airplane. I speak jive. But Jasmine Crockett, keeping it classy, too.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
Off.
Yes, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, one of the most successful and extraordinary people in the history of humankind, and what this ghetto rabble trash would say is beep off. Okay. So, I guess if you see Ilhan Omar or Jasmine Crockett anywhere on the street, I guess it would be appropriate to offer the same greeting that they offer and that they recommend, because this is how third world beep hole countries go to civil war by way of people like Ilhan Omar and Jasmine Crockett. Aren't they extraordinary? Your Democrat Party. Gosh, let's go to President Trump from yesterday, because President Trump gave a big speech at the University of Alabama for a commencement address, and there were some great classic Trump moments. The Democrats, they had mental cases sign an anti-Trump petition saying he shouldn't be invited to the University of Alabama. And then they firebombed a Tesla dealership and fired cannons on Fort Sumter, which they have a long history of doing. But President Trump having fun. And one of the headlines, Trump mocks trans athletes in women's sports to roaring applause at Alabama commencement speech. At one point in speech, Trump physically reenacts trans weightlifter beating female competitor. The Democrats, they want to cheat in everything that they do. If they want to cheat women out of athletic success and trophies and scholarships and the rights that they've earned, then they certainly, I think, would cheat in elections, wouldn't they? If you're a cheater, you're a cheater, pumpkin eater. The nature of cheating is that if you're a cheater, if you'll cheat at this, then you'll cheat at that. My mother taught me that when I was a very small child. I learned a lot of important lessons when I was a very small child from my mother, who was a woman, and she had 6 children, all boys, who grew up to be men. But President Trump at the University of Alabama, the graduation, the commencement, and ton of fun stuff. So let's start, because it's the beginning of because of President Trump's second time around as president, the golden age, and President Trump, University of Alabama.
You're the first graduating class of the golden age of America. We're in the golden age. You watch. It's the golden age. Like many generations before you, you're graduating at an exciting time for our nation, a period of both extraordinary change and incredible potential and what will be unbelievable growth. You're going to see that very soon. You're going to see it starting very, very soon. The whole world is talking about it.
He is still navigating and negotiating with countries around the world, friendly countries and not as friendly countries, and trade deals, and they're already falling into place all over with Japan and India, giant trade partners, with Mexico, merry old Mexico, where they're not sending us their best, are they? No, they're not. And President Trump pointed that out a long time ago, didn't he? Yes, he did. You bet your bottom dollar. And he said, he's talking about how the Democrats teach everyone. The most exalted status for a lefty is that of victim. That's why boys become girls, and I think they have giant people become dwarves. There's a lot of confusion, mental distress. But President Trump, stand up, stand on your own 2 feet. This is what my whole generation was raised with, by the World War II generation, who are not a bunch of wussies, I think it would be fair to say. And they passed along their ethos to my generation, and I'm very thankful for that. And I'm concerned for follow-on generations who they're raising, and our culture is, in many instances, raising universities and school systems, raising children to be losers and to want to be victims. President Trump yesterday.
Don't consider yourself a victim. Consider yourself a winner. In recent years, too many of our young people have really been taught to think of themselves as victims and blame people and be angry. Don't be angry. Whether you were born rich or poor, black or white, male or female in America, anyone can be a winner. And our whole country will be cheering you on, and I'll be at the front of the line cheering you on, especially because you come from this incredible university.
Everyone's a winner, baby. That's the truth. Wait, a positive message? Democrats don't deliver that message. They deliver, you live in a racist country, and even if you're white, the people are discriminating against you for your race. The Democrats are actually discriminating against everybody based on their race. The left discriminates against Asians, won't get you into Harvard because you worked too hard and did too well, but they've got to stop you. If you're black, you're naturally a victim because the Democrats, were bullwhipping your great-great-grandfather or something. And they were all Democrats, by the way, and now you're Democrats. Pretty stupid, huh? Just amazing. But they love the victimology of everything. Become gay. So if you're a straight white male, they try to entice you into being a gay white male because then you can check a box on their victimology test. Quite remarkable. Amazing stuff. So President Trump, speaking of the racists of the Democrat Party and our border, President Trump securing our border. As he says, 99.999%, it practically is. I mean, they were catching 17,000 people. At the same time, now they're catching 9 people. It is kind of a massive reduction. President Trump.
It helps when you know that borders are not racist, speech is not violence, America is good, terrorists are bad, men can never become women, police are not criminals, and criminals are not victims. Everybody should believe in the American dream. It's real, it's there, and it's right before you. We're coming back to the American dream.
That was a great bit, and I'm not sure if that was in the teleprompter, if he was doing that off the top of his head. He weaves in and out of prompter and off the top of his head quite frequently, as you are doubtless aware. But the reality is that was a great line, and police are not bad, criminals are not victims, men can't be women, terrorists are bad, and speech isn't violence, borders aren't racist. Good stuff, just great stuff from the president. And University of Alabama, I got to say, the people behind him were smiling and jovial and pleasant looking, and they were clean and bright and articulate. So I slipped into a Joe Biden talking about Barack Obama moment there. They honestly, the people behind him, just very nice looking people behind him who were happy and their eyes were bright. They weren't stoned. They weren't transgender. President Trump, this is a great one because, conservatives know that there are men and women. Democrats want to sever their genitalia and throw it into a Cuisinart.
I love sports, and I think I should have come here. Congratulations as well to the women's track and field team for winning 2 SEC titles this year. That's something. As long as I'm president, we will always protect women's sports. Men will not play in women's sports. No way.
But for Democrats, the theme song of the Democrat Party is Lola. Lola, boys will be girls and girls will be boys. It's a mixed up world. She's a mixed-up girl. That was every Democrat in America. The lyrics actually go, that was Lola, but now it's every Democrat in America. You know that the all-new third-generation Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier is finally available to all of us, and it builds on the incredible success of the previous generations of Eden Pure Thunderstorms. And those earned thousands of 5-star reviews on Al Gore's Amazing Internet, quickly became a bestseller. We have 2 thunderstorms in our home. This new thunderstorm uses two technologies that studies have shown help to kill up to 99.9% of bacteria and viruses. They remove dust and pet stuff and smoke and a whole lot more from the air that you breathe. And it helps get rid of any smelly odor with no filters to have to buy and replace again and again on a schedule and buying them with money. None of that stuff. The thunderstorm, which you can hold in your hand like this, they're only this big. It's going to help get rid of any stinky smell, guaranteed. Talking about trash can cigarette smoke, smelly liberal protesters, no match for the Eden Pure thunderstorm. Right now, you can save $200 on an Eden Pure thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. Put one in your basement, your teenager's room, your bedroom, and bring one to the office. Give one as a gift. Come on, any place you like to breathe clean, fresh air, that's where you put an Eden Pure thunderstorm. All you have to do is go to EdenPureDeals.com. EdenPureDeals.com. Use the discount code Chris3. Chris and the number 3 to save $200 American on 3 thunderstorms. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is Chris3. Yes, sir. See, there's Lola. That's their theme song. I have more President Trump for you from Alabama and more rascally Democrats.
Men will not be playing in women's sports, and I classified it with a very powerful executive order. As you know, it's done.
Chris here with a list of things that none of us should trust. The Washington Post, the New York Times, anything on CNN. Here's a list of things that I do trust. The Washington Times. Support real journalism for just $1 a week at WashingtonTimes.com/Chris. Hey, I got to get to that Sheryl Crow, too. I'm reminded because now I want to go to Mark calling from Jasper, Tennessee. Marcus, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Chris. I love you, man. I'm a road warrior, and you keep me laughing and keep me attentive while I'm driving.
That's outstanding. Thank you. Happy to hear that, Mark.
Thank you. I wanted to address the Jewish fellow from Houston about your question to him about why Democrats support the Jews, or the other way around, excuse me. But I was in
support
Israel
Democrats. Yeah.
Thank you. But a little nervous talking to you.
Yeah, I understand.
But I was in Israel for 2 weeks in 2011, and talking with a good Jewish customer over there. He had great discussion about why American Jews support Democrats. He couldn't believe it, and he pleaded with me when I got back to America to tell Jewish people not to vote for Obama. Obviously, I failed because he got reelected. But while I was over there, I was able to tour Old Jerusalem and Bethlehem.
Yeah.
And if I'd have known when I walked into Bethlehem that was controlled by the Palestinians, I wouldn't have went. So it was pretty scary.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mentioned Mark, when I was there a while back with my best girl, we were strongly advised to stay away from Bethlehem because we would surely be murdered. All right, President Trump at University of Alabama commencement speech yesterday, having a lot of fun. And they apparently have a journalism school there. They have a journalism school. And President Trump wanted to say, hey, if you've decided for some foolish reason to go into journalism, you should keep in mind that maybe you should be interested in telling the truth and reporting facts. And crazy as that might sound, a lot of people in the so-called journalism business don't do that now. And I've been talking about this for many years. My background, which goes back in my family to 1924 and in this business. But the state of journalism has never been more pathetic, more horrible, more corrupt, more covered in their own filth. And President Trump wanted to give them just a little. If this is your chosen line of work, just keep a couple of things in mind.
To the journalism majors, of which I've had a lot of problems with. So I must be honest. I'm not sure I like them. No, I do. But you're really leading a very thing, because we need a great and free press. We need a brilliant press. They're like a watchkeeper. They're very important, and you can go out and take it down a new track, help save the country. So important. Your task is so important, and it's to build a media that Americans can trust. And remember, the people of this country, they know the truth when they hear it. That's why the ratings, the approval numbers of the media are so low. We need those ratings to be 100%. We have to be able to trust our media.
That would be really nice, and I've been talking about this for many years since I started this, and I came from 17 years at CNN and growing up in a CBS News family, and my mother and her father, my grandfather on television doing news from the time I was a small child and long before I was a small child, and raised on it, weaned on it, and the truth is I was raised on that. Where these people came from, I don't know. Different household, apparently, like Terry Moran at ABC News, smug boy, but amazing stuff. And it's in terrible shape. And I've been saying forever that the proper function of our constitutional republic depends on a free and fair press. We have a free press. But the second half of that is where the problem comes in. We don't have a fair press. We have a corrupt press. We have a sinister and devious and political press. All too often. Doesn't mean each and every one individually, of course. But practically. I'm telling you. Yes, sir. Did we play number 5? Yes. Okay. And number 5, President Trump at the University of Alabama at the commencement address yesterday.
Graduates of the Alabama class of 2025 standing here before you in this magnificent arena, it is clear to see the next chapter of the American story will not be written by the Harvard Crimson. It will be written by you, the Crimson Tide.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
That's true. Honestly, we do need to squeeze the Harvard people out of all of this because, they're not on our side and they're not looking for the truth. And apparently they're all Jew haters, too. That's kind of weird. Even their Jews are Jew haters. It's pretty appalling. I am telling you. Even the New York Times, we've been playing the audio for you, even the New York Times today reporting that the Democrat Party has become the party of the F word, that curse word that Ilhan Omar and all that. The New York Times is talking about it. Say the F word won't save the Democrats, and God knows the Democrats have the New York Times in their corner. The New York Times wants to save the Democrats. And the criminals and the gang members and the jihadis, and they're on the wrong side of everything, absolutely everything. And with that, who's on the right side of things is our border czar, Tom Homan. Tom Homan. Talking about Tren de Aragua. We just call Tren de Aragua TDA now because the Joe Biden and the Democrats waved in so many Venezuelan gang members that we've got an abbreviation for them because we're going to have to be talking about them for years to come with all the murders and the mayhem. And you remember Terry Moran on ABC News talking to President Trump the other night. President Trump's talking about all the murderers coming in, the illegal alien murderers coming in, and Terry Moran scoffed and looked more arrogant than he even had seconds earlier and said, like two murders.
We have thousands of murderers that came in. They're going to murder people. They already have murdered people in our country.
Like two, he says, like two. Just amazing. And what you flippant, arrogant, ignorant little, I almost said a bad word. I'll say twit. Twit like that. I'll go with that. Tom Homan, the border czar, yesterday talking about what he's busy doing, trying to keep the number of murders, which is way the hell above 2. But Terry Moran is ignorant. He doesn't know. He doesn't follow the news. They all get their news from each other. It's a circle fest in a hot tub, and nobody follows the news. Those people don't. They literally don't follow the news. They don't know what's. I was talking to a liberal, a Democrat earlier from where was he from? Chicago. He was from Houston. That's right. And like, well, there's, I don't want to go down that road again. Here's Tom Homan talking about borders are the kind of stuff that he sees.
I hope that the Democrats keep going down there. They're showing the American people they're supporting a gang member, terrorist, public safety threat, white beater, rather than meeting with Angels moms and dads. I'm meeting with 50 Angel moms and dads this afternoon. Is there one Democrat representative going to be there? No.
50 Angel moms and dads this afternoon. Now, Angel mom dad unfortunately means that they have children that have been murdered. And since he's the border czar, we're not just talking about the average Democrat murder, the normal Democrat kids with guns that are illegal guns murdering people, but illegal aliens murdering people. And he's meeting with 50 of these angel mothers and fathers. Isn't that amazing?
They already have murdered people in our country.
Like two. God, the propaganda outlet. And I said, I think I said it last night on Newsmax as well. If I were president, I think I'd say, you know what? ABC is not a news organization. They're no longer credentialed to come into the White House as a journalistic organization because they're not. They're a fraudulent propaganda outlet. Just amazing stuff. Tom Homan. Yes, sir. And Terry Moran. What a disgrace. President Trump. Talking how we already played that one too. That number 15. We did play that one. That's a funny one. Yes, Tom Homan. Yes, tell you this is what he's got on his plate every day.
I've seen in 40 years what TDA and MS-13 are capable of.
Friend Day
I've seen the horrific things they have done, not only to American citizens, but aliens that live here. I've seen their capability. They are animals. I can't even compare it to animals. Animals kill to survive. MS-13 and TDA kill for pleasure. And to put fear in not only the American community, they put fear in the immigrant community. That's who they attack the most, the migrant community.
And the Democrats are fine with that because what do they know? They don't know anything about it. Like two, Terry Moran says. Really? 2 murders by illegal aliens? You guys ought to start following the news. But they get their news from CNN and from each other. When they're cheating on their wives and their husbands, they're cheating with the people at CNN and MSDNC. Amazing stuff. Yeah, like 2. No? Wrong again. And he couldn't name Rachel Moran in Maryland. He probably lives in Montgomery County, Maryland, Terry Moran. And he doesn't know Laken Riley, Joe Biden called Lincoln Riley. Remember that? They're not on our side. And Tom Homan saying, I don't even want to call them animals because animals kill with purpose. I made that change long ago. Stop calling the illegal alien gang members animals because animals have more dignity and more decency. And they kill because they need to eat and they need to survive. Gang members kill so they can steal your stuff.
Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal.
Lincoln. That's Lincoln. Well, it's Laken, but nice try, Maroon. Man, oh, man. Yes, sir. Also, the Doge. There was a meeting of the Doge people yesterday, and they were in a giant conference room. I guess it was the White House or the executive office building next door. And with Fox News host, Jesse Waters, and some good stuff. Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, the Democrats are in favor of the Department of, and the Department of Government, but they don't like the efficiency part. They're against that. They want waste, fraud, and abuse because it serves the interest of the left. They create slush funds and all that good stuff. But one of the Doge guys, Ethan Chotran, talks about he went to Harvard, but then he had enough.
I dropped out of Harvard and came here to serve my country. And it's been unfortunate to see, lost friendships. Most of campus hates me now. But I think fundamentally, I hope people realize through conversations like this that reform is genuinely needed.
reform is genuinely needed. He was going to Harvard. He came here to serve his country, and now he's despised on the campus at Harvard. He is Asian-ish, Asian or Asian-ish. So I'm surprised he got in. He must have been twice as good because the white Democrat so-called liberals, they discriminate against Asians when Asians do so well that they want to get into Harvard, and it's a cakewalk. And then the Democrats obstruct their efforts because they're racists. And it was the Democrats that put Japanese Americans in internment camps during World War II, concentration camps. And still, the Democrats, their historical record is one blight after another, one crime against humanity after another, from the plantations in the Confederate States and the KKK and Jim Crow to putting internment camps, concentration camps up for most of them were Japanese Americans. And look at them now. Now they just want MS-13 to be loose and free. But another Doge guy who he goes by Donald P. So it's not Donald Trump, but one of the, and these are both young guys. They're young, sharp guys, as Ethan said that he dropped out of Harvard to come do this. So he's supposed to still be at Harvard. It hasn't been going on for that long, only a few months. And these really smart, bright guys. You could tell they were smart, bright guys. They were articulate and bright and clean, good stuff. But Doge guy, Donald P.
We are encountering droves of government employees who are missionaries, not mercenaries, who are actually here serving because they believe in what they're doing. When we give them the tools, when we give them the systems, and we leave behind systems to help them do their jobs better, that's the permanent change. We have exceptional people at all of our agencies. Exceptional.
Now, I wanted to use that soundbite because I thought it was very nice that he's been exploring government agencies, going in and out. And he said there are a lot of really extraordinary, bright people who are there to do the right thing. And I've certainly experienced that in my many years in Washington, D.C. as well, in and out of government buildings for 30 years and knowing people and socializing with people and so on. But, and the news media, the left-wing news media, Elon Musk admits Doge has fallen short of expectations. Yeah. Only saved $160 billion so far, and going to keep it in place to keep looking under the sheets, where you're going to find a lot of Democrats with monkeypox. So got to keep your eyes peeled for that. Let's grab a phone call, Michael. Let's go to Carlo, calling from Arlington, Virginia. Carlo, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Chris, thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
You were talking about Ilhan Omar. That's a sore spot with me. Some time ago, some of her countrymen from Somalia told her that they were having trouble back home, and she said, "I'll talk to my president." And she wasn't talking about President Trump. Uh-huh. And as you know, when you take the oath, you swear allegiance only to the United States. And when you hear her speak, I mean, she hates the United States. You said it before. She should be drummed out of Congress. Yeah. And these Democrats, they're all cussing now. That's supposed to show that they're tough, but actually it's just showing frustration.
And they think they're hipsters because, they're out doing whatever they're doing. But I've been saying for years, Carlo, that they're just not on our side. And they prove it again and again and again. I'll talk to my president, huh?
That's what you said.
Yeah, she doesn't identify as an American.
No, not hardly. And as a Catholic, I have to say the fact that she married her brother is absolutely perverted.
Well, it was only to commit immigration fraud.
Right.
Which... To the Democrat Party and Democrat members of Congress, that's fine with them.
Of course it is.
They're not on our side, Carlo. They're not the good guys.
No. And the caller you had before, he was talking about Republicans lie and Democrats lie, and you were going back and forth with the cable channels. Right. You should have asked him what lies did the Fox News and Newsmax, what lies do they tell? They're the only ones that tell the truth.
Yeah, well, and But you're a liberal, you get your news from CNN and MSNBC, so you miss a lot, like Terry Moran at ABC News, for example. Amazing stuff. Carlo, great talking to you. Thank you for paying attention. Let's go back to the telephones and talk to normal people. Good people, American people. Let's talk to Patrick, calling from Rhode Island. Patrick, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hey, Chris, how are you? Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Yeah, I was calling about the Luigi the musical. Apparently, there are two characters in there that are supposed to be Sean Diddy Combs and Sam Bankman-Fried.
Right.
Who are fellow inmates with Mr. Mangione at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn.
Right.
I'm just wondering what the songs that are going to be in the musical. I'm wondering if they could use Johnny Cash's Folsom Prison Blues and call it the Metropolitan Detention Center Blues. And instead of saying I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die, you could say I shot a man in New York just to watch him die.
Yeah, shot a man down on the sidewalk. And what is, Patrick, these are crazy times, aren't they? I mean, they're, we've done things before where killers become romanticized, and we even would do comedy about certain killers or assassins. But this guy is just a lunatic who gunned down a CEO, and he hasn't even gone to trial yet. Normally there was a grace period of some kind where we would wait. At least the trial would be over. The guy would be, off to prison. More dramatic if they execute him. The electric chair is best for that, I think. But the Democrat Party is truly demented at this point, aren't they, Patrick?
Well, no, definitely, and like you said, they want to date him.
Right, that's a euphemism.
I know.
I know, because we're in polite company and everything. Yeah, but Luigi Mangione, the musical, and his pearly white teeth and folk hero status, and the San Francisco, California stage. And you're right, in the same jail, a couple of other Democrats, as you said, saying Bankman-Fried, the fraudster, and Sean Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy Do, Combs. The Democrat Party is, at what point do we declare them to be a criminal organization? God's sake. Thanks, Patrick.